Welcome everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you the out of bounds on the 3 original battle maps by 4J Studios. And before we do that, it probably is a good idea to get night vision because there's a lot of I don't know how much stuff is out of bounds, but some of the hidden stuff is underground, so it's probably a good idea to have some night vision while we're doing this. So let's go into spectator mode and we can get a good look of what it looks like outside. It's very messy out here, especially in this area here. We'll get to that in a minute. But one of the things I wanted to show you guys is this area right here. Completely outside the map. Don't know how a player would ever get here. But there's this cut area. It's got a whole bunch of fences, stairs, torches. I mean, no player is ever going to be here, but it is definitely decorated a little bit. I don't know what its original purpose was, but it is definitely here, and it's got some buggy water. But over here, I think they were testing terrain at some point, or just another cut location of the map, because if we go underneath, right here, there's more. It looks just like the other area, just more decorative, so I don't know if it's just testing, or if they were testing a design for a cave, but yeah, it goes. It's a pretty decent sized area just out here. I don't know what its purpose is. I don't think we'll ever know. Another thing I found along with this little area right here, there's actually this man-made tunnel, and if you follow it through, there's actually a chest in the wall. Don't know what its purpose is or why it's here, but it is definitely interesting to look at. I don't know how I missed it, but there's a completely another hidden chest right next to the man-made tunnel that we found earlier. There's another one right down here. I don't know what they're doing with these chests, but they're definitely here. Nothing in them, of course. If we go outside the map in this area here, there's actually a cave with a torch and a skeleton skull. And I feel like the skeleton skulls have some sort of meaning because right behind this wall, there's this second room with a flower pot, a torch, and another skeleton skull, which is very odd in my opinion. Don't know why it's out here or what it's for. Here's another thing I wanted to point out. You can see this area from in the map, but you can't actually access it. But here's what it looks like. I mean, it's nothing much. Now I'm going to give you guys one last look of what it looks like outside. I personally haven't found anything on the surface out here. There's really nothing else to really mention, so I'll just continue to show you guys outside the map, and then we'll move on to the next one. This map is definitely more well known than the other ones in my opinion. I feel like this one was the most popular, but this here is Cavern. And just like before, we are going to need some night vision. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that real quick. Now we can go back into spectator mode. And we can take a look about what's outside the map. Normally there's like an invisible barrier right here. You can normally see this village out here from in-game, but obviously you can't really see much of it. But here's what the village looks like in its entirety. There's really nothing much going on here. There's actually villagers here, surprisingly, but I don't know, a little interesting to look at. This little area over here is probably one of the more well-known areas outside the map. It seems like they were maybe testing stuff. I mean, there's nothing in the dispenser, nothing in these chests, but there is actually items in here. I did not put these in here. These are actually part of the map. There's actually ingots and spruce planks within the furnace. And I think they were just testing interactable objects, like doors and all that stuff. Obviously, you can open doors in the actual game, and chests, obviously, but I don't think they wanted you to access dispensers and signs and stuff. But it's really neat to look at of what they were doing. I don't think there's much else out here to really look at, so we'll look around what's underground. There's this little area I forgot to mention right by the village. There's a small structure here. Not sure what the point of it is for, but it's here. There isn't much going on underneath the map here, but it is definitely interesting to look at. underneath this tree, there's actually a hole where it looks like a player had gone down here and went mining or something. There's not much going on in here, but it gets blocked off. But yeah, there was definitely somebody here at some point because there's still torches. Another thing I wanted to show is right under here, right behind here, there's actually remains of what looks like a TNT explosion right down here. Not sure what the goal was down here, but there's definitely what looks like to be TNT explosions here. Here's another case of player mines. There's a whole small tunnel right down here with torches, and it doesn't go anywhere, but it's here. I'm sure some players might be wondering what's behind here, because you can see this area from in the map, but you can't actually access it. But there's really nothing much going on back here. It's completely blocked off. It's just this little statue with the fire. This goes back down into the main map. Nothing too important, but I ended up finding a single torch outside the map. It's got no point, or it's got no use, but it's here. Another thing I wanted to show off is this little area right up here. You can look up and see what's up there within the actual game, but you can't really get up here. But with spectator mode, we can see there's nothing here, and it actually leads to the structure that was by the village previously that was showed off. Another thing I found that I forgot to mention, right behind this area, there's actually another one completely out of bounds. No player would ever see this, but it's here in this ravine. Not sure why it's here, but it's here. Now I feel like it is the perfect time to check out Crucible, the Nether map. Here we are in Crucible, one of the most annoying maps to play on, with all of the lava. Now I saved this one for last because there isn't much to look at out of bounds itself, but I wanted to show you guys the crazy mechanics they used outside of this dome and what's actually hidden under the map. So if we go into spectator mode, there's this whole underground area that was cut for some reason. If we go over here to this chest room, there's actually a whole nother room hidden below. I don't know why this was cut from the game, but it is here. It is completely blocked off. No player can get here, but it's just here, and it looks like a replica somewhat of this area up here, just different. Not sure what its purpose is, but it is here. And another thing I wanted to show you guys was outside the dome. A lot of people want to know, and they'll be surprised, but this area is actually built in the overworld. I'm not sure how they did this, but they gave the world a nether atmosphere. I think they messed around with world tools or whatever they have. They're developers, I don't know. But I thought it was really interesting to look at that it was actually built in the overworld. It is very weird. It gives the water this red texture, which is very weird. You don't ever see that. But there is nothing. I've spent so much time out here exploring, and there is nothing out here. There's nothing to really look at. There's not much going on underground. Nothing hidden. But I just love how perfect this dome is, though. It is crazy perfect. There is this area underneath, but it's just a mine shaft. There's really nothing worth noting down here. And that, everybody, was the out of bounds of the 3 main maps of Battle minigames by 4J Studios. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one. I can definitely go back and look around some more. I also have the other maps. I can always do a part 2. I have other maps to look at we can check out. But other than that, hope everyone has a great day. Stay tuned.